What if the home you sold was holding together more than just walls? At 65, I thought I was making a smart decision. The kids were grown, the space felt too big, and the numbers made sense. So I sold it. But I didn't realize what I was walking away from until it was gone. Because the truth is, your home holds more than furniture and memories. It holds parts of you. In this video, I'll share the 5 emotional lessons I learned too late after selling my home. And I hope one of them stops you from making the same mistake. Lesson number 2 hit me harder than I ever expected. I know people who sold their homes after retirement and felt free, lighter, excited for a new chapter. But for me, it was different. Within weeks of moving out, I felt unrooted. The days felt quieter, the air colder. I couldn't explain it at first, but I had made a decision that changed more than my address. It changed my identity. No one told me this part. No one warned me how deep the loss would cut, not just financially but emotionally. That's why I'm sharing this story. In the next few minutes, I'll walk you through 5 powerful lessons I learned after selling my home at 65. Lessons no one warned me about until it was too late. If you're thinking about downsizing or moving after retirement, please watch this first. It might save you more than just money. Before we begin, don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss a helpful tip. And if you're here, just type where you're listening from and what time is it in the comments so I know you're watching. Lesson 1, it wasn't just a house, it was my anchor. At the time, I told myself, it's just a house. For walls, a roof, a bit too much to clean, and way more space than I needed. The kids had long moved out. The stairs were getting harder, and the market looked good. So I sold it, and for a few days it felt like a relief. No more yard work, no more repairs. Everything fit in a small apartment, and for once I thought I was free. But then something strange started happening. I'd wake up at night feeling untethered. The ceiling above me was unfamiliar. The floorboards didn't creak the way they used to. And the silence? It wasn't peaceful, it was hollow. I didn't realize it at first, but that house was my anchor. It was where I raised my children, where I made pancakes on Sunday mornings, where I sat alone after losing my spouse, where my dog scratched the same spot by the back door every day for 12 years. I had spent decades pouring love, grief, routine, and memory into that space. And when I sold it, I wasn't just handing over keys. I was cutting loose from everything that made me feel grounded. Here's what no one tells you. Your home becomes part of your identity. It holds your rituals, your memories. It's the one place where the world made sense even when it didn't. When you let go of that, especially after 60 or 65, the loss can hit you in ways you don't expect. Not just emotionally, but physically. My sleep changed. My mood dipped. I felt more anxious, more forgetful, more lost. Looking back, I wish I had paused. I wish I had asked myself not just if I could sell the house, but if I was ready to lose what it represented. Because it turns out, it wasn't just a house. It was my history. It was my anchor. And when I cut it loose, I drifted. So if you're thinking about selling, downsizing, or moving on, pause for a moment. Walk through every room, not just with your eyes, but with your heart. Ask yourself, what will I miss that I don't even realize yet? Because once it's gone, and no amount of logic can bring back the feeling of being home. Lesson 2, downsizing didn't mean freedom, it meant isolation. When I sold my home and moved into a smaller apartment, everyone told me how smart I was. You'll love the simplicity. Less to clean, less to worry about. Freedom, finally. At first, I believed them. The space was neat. I had everything I needed within reach. No stairs, no garden, no clutter. But then, the quiet started to grow. Back in my old home, even when I was alone, I never felt lonely. There were neighbors next door who stopped by just to check in. There was a rhythm. The postman waving through the window, the kids riding their bikes down the street, the grocery clerk who remembered my name. Now, I could go an entire day without speaking to a single soul. Downsizing was supposed to simplify my life. But instead, it shrunk my world. The new building was nice enough, but everyone kept to themselves. Doors stayed closed. Elevator rides were silent. And I missed the silly things. The creak of the back door, the smell of my rose bush, the distant sound of a neighbor mowing their lawn. I didn't realize how deeply my environment had supported my mental and emotional health. Until it wasn't there. I had more time on my hands, yes, but less connection, less joy, less life. Here's what I wish someone had told me. Freedom isn't just the absence of responsibility. It's the presence of community, familiarity, and meaning. I wasn't overwhelmed in my old house. I was held by it. It gave me purpose. I had routines that anchored me, people who waved from across the fence, memories in every hallway. Now, with fewer responsibilities, I also had fewer relationships. And that kind of freedom is lonely. If you're considering a move, ask yourself this. What do you really want less of? Tasks or connection? Because in trying to escape a bit of work, I lost a whole world of warmth. And I'm still trying to get it back. Lesson 3, the math looked right, but emotionally I was bankrupt. On paper it made perfect sense. The house had doubled in value. The taxes were rising. I could sell it, invest the money, and live more comfortably in a smaller place. It was logical, clean, sensible. So I did it. I ran the numbers 5 times. Everyone, my accountant, my friends, nodded in approval. You'll have more security, more cushion, more options. But here's the part no one calculated. I was emotionally bankrupt within a month. I had more money in my account, yes, but my soul felt emptier than ever. The comfort I thought would come from a better financial situation never came, because money can't warm a cold morning. It can't replace the feeling of sitting in your chair beside your window watching the light fall in a way it always has. It can't recreate the safety of knowing exactly which floorboard creaks when your grandkids run down the hall. And it certainly can't give you back the part of yourself you left behind. I spent decades building a life in that house. And what I didn't realize is that value isn't just measured in dollars, it's measured in identity. That home was part of who I was. And when I traded it in for what looked like a smart financial move, I didn't realize I was cashing out more than just real estate. I was cashing out stability, continuity, emotion. No spreadsheet warned me about that. So here's what I've learned. Logic isn't enough. Even the most financially sound decision can leave you deeply unbalanced if it forgets to account for the human heart. Before you sell, ask yourself, what is this home really worth? Not just on the market, but in your memories, your rhythms, your peace of mind? Because once I walked out of that front door for the last time, I walked into a kind of emptiness that no amount of savings could fill. Lesson 4. Memories don't pack themselves. They tell you to pack up what matters most. But how do you pack a birthday echoing through the hallway? The warmth of a fireplace where your spouse once dozed off mid-conversation? The dent in the wooden floor where your dog slept every afternoon for 12 years? You can wrap the plates. You can box up the books. But the real things, the invisible things, don't fit in a moving truck. I remember standing in my living room for the last time, everything empty. And yet, the walls were still heavy with memories. I could see my daughter practicing her first dance recital in that corner. I could hear my son slamming the front door during teenage storms. I could smell the cinnamon from Christmas mornings, long after the kitchen was cleaned out. But I couldn't take any of it with me. The moving process was clinical. Tape, labels, checklists. I was told it was the start of a new chapter. But no one warned me I'd feel like I was tearing pages out of the last one. Because the truth is, memories don't pack themselves. They haunt what's left behind. And when I moved, I didn't just lose space, I lost connection to a part of myself. Even now, I'll hear a sound or smell something faintly familiar, and feel this ache, like I left someone behind. Looking back, I wish I'd taken more time to say goodbye properly, to walk through each room and let myself grieve, to photograph the corners I'd miss, to tell the house thank you. Sounds silly, but when a place holds decades of your life, you owe it that kind of goodbye. So here's my advice. If you're planning to move, don't rush. Honor the space. Let yourself feel the weight of what you're leaving. Write down what that home meant to you. Because if you don't take time to carry the memories with you, they'll stay there, echoing in rooms you'll never walk through again. Lesson 5. What you leave behind might not be what you meant to. I thought I was making a practical choice. I told myself, it's just a house. The kids are grown. They've moved on. What I didn't realize was that my home meant something to them too. A few months after the sale, my daughter came to visit me in the new place. She was quiet that day. She glanced around my new living room, smiled politely, and then said something I'll never forget. It's nice, but it doesn't feel like home. I brushed it off at the time, told her it was just a transition. But later that night, I thought about all the moments that old house had held for her too. Her baby shoes were in that hallway closet. Her prom photos were taken on that staircase. That kitchen? That's where she cried into a bowl of cereal the day her heart was broken for the first time. I realized then that I hadn't just sold my house. I had sold our history. And I never even asked how they felt about it. We often think our children don't care about old walls or worn floors. But what we leave behind is more than square footage. It's the place their memories live too. Sometimes your home is a kind of inheritance. Not the kind that gets passed down on paper, but the kind that's felt in the smell of an old cushion, the sound of a creaky door, the comfort of a familiar window. When I let go of that house, I thought I was unburdening myself, but I left behind more than I meant to, and I took away something they didn't know they still needed. So if you're thinking of selling, have the conversation. Ask your children what that home meant to them. Not because you owe them anything, but because legacy isn't always written in a will. Sometimes it's a place where their childhood still lives, quietly waiting for them to come home again. I thought I was making a wise, simple decision. Selling the house after 65 felt like the logical next step in the retirement story. But what I've learned since then is that some decisions seem clear, until you feel their consequences echo in your heart. Looking back now, here are the 5 emotional lessons I wish someone had told me before I handed over those keys. Lesson 1, it wasn't just a house, it was my anchor. It held my routines, my healing, my identity. And once it was gone, I felt adrift. Lesson 2, downsizing didn't give me freedom, it gave me silence. Not the peaceful kind, but the isolating kind. The kind that makes you feel forgotten. Lesson 3, the math looked right, but emotionally I felt bankrupt. More money, yes, but less connection, less joy, and far less peace. Lesson 4, memories don't pack themselves. They stay in the walls, in the corners, in the quiet you didn't realize you cherished. Lesson 5, what you leave behind might not be what you meant to. I thought I was simplifying life. Instead, I erased a piece of our family history. It's not that selling your home is always the wrong choice. For some, it brings real relief and new beginnings. But for others, like me, it leaves an ache that no one warned you about. And that's why I made this video. So you don't have to learn these lessons the hard way. So you can pause, reflect, and ask yourself, am I ready to let this part of my life go? Or do I just feel pressured to move on? You don't need to be stuck in the past, but you do deserve to make decisions with your whole heart, not just your head. And if you've already sold like I did, know this. You're not alone. Grief over a home is real. It's valid, and you're allowed to feel it. You can still build new meaning, new memories, and even new roots. But never forget where you came from. Because that place, that home, helped shape who you are. And it always will. If any part of this story resonated with you, I hope you'll take a moment to reflect. Have you gone through something similar? Have you sold your home, or are you thinking about it now? Tell me in the comments. Which of these 5 lessons hit home for you the most? I read every response, and your story might just help someone else feel less alone. And if you're still watching, thank you. This wasn't just a list of tips. It was a piece of my heart. And if it helped you pause, reconsider, or simply feel seen, then it was worth sharing. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. We talk about real life here, the emotional truths of aging, decision-making, and living with purpose in our later years. Turn on the bell so you don't miss future reflections, hard-earned lessons, and gentle reminders that it's never too late to take control of your story. And most of all, share this with someone you love. A sibling, a friend, a parent who's wrestling with the same decision. Sometimes just hearing that they're not alone can change everything. Until next time, be gentle with your memories, be bold with your choices, and never forget your story still matters.